things just got very interesting. A writer from Athlon Sports proposes a trade that would be very interesting and would give the Spurs something real. And we're going to break it down here on Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. And if you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys take a spur of the moment to get every Spurs moment so you don't miss all the great content coming from me, Josh, and Brian. Shout out to them. They just did a great duo video in the last one. If you haven't seen it, go check that one out after you're done watching this one here. But there's a target out there. The San Antonio Spurs could target overlooked trade candidate open title window. The Spurs could, a little typo there, but the Spurs could go all in on a title-worthy core this offseason in a deal with a Western Conference rival. And the question always would be, like, why would you trade within conference? Well, if the pieces of the puzzle are on a different team, yeah, I'm going to trade with them regardless of the conference that they're in, because of the fact that if I can't get better, what does it matter? And I can't be scared of them. But we'll move on from there. The Spurs have been linked to a fair share of possible trade candidates this offseason, of course. We've talked about Kevin Durant, who is one of the favorites. We've talked about Giannis, who is one of the favorites, especially how their season just ended. That guy will be in talks with the San Antonio Spurs. Cam Johnson's another one. We've had multiple people within the realm of the Spurs talking. Why? Because we've got the assets, we've got the talent, we've got the location, we've got it all. We got the organization as well. But the fit between Wemby and Fox and the rumored target is often questionable at best. However, as the Memphis Grizzlies reel from their first round sweep, obviously, even though we had Scottie Pippen Jr. and John saying we figured out the Thunder, you guys figured out nothing. You guys weren't winning that series regardless. The team is rumored to be paired to tear down their roster. The biggest star, Ja Morant, would fit neither the Spurs roster or culture. Absolutely not. We don't need another athletic guard. We already have Stephon Castle. We have De'Aaron Fox. There's no need to get Ja Morant. That's not the guy we're talking about. Although the Grizzlies could get a massive haul if they put Jaren Jackson on the trade block. Jaren Jackson's the guy we're going to be talking about here moving forward. Jackson is a former Defensive Player of the Year, has twice led the league in blocks, and has made 2 all-defensive teams. In recent seasons, he has expanded his offensive capabilities, averaging 22.3 while becoming more of a floor spacer. And let's just talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. in full. To end the season, it was 22.2 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.5 blocks, 1.2 steals, shot 48.8% from the floor, and 37.5% from 3. He can really shoot the 3 ball from the corners, the left wing, the right wing. We understand he's at 6'10". He's only 25 years old, so he fits our timeline. We understand that with the 5.6 rebounds for a guy who is 6'10", you would think to yourself, oh man, he kind of doesn't get under and rebound enough for what you would want in a traditional big. But when you have a guy like Victor Wembanyama paired with you, the rebounds really don't matter. And the thing about him, he can legitimately space the floor. As a big, he's a good screen center, pick and pop, pick and roll guy, has a good offensive game. We saw it he actually has post moves, can turn over the left shoulder, the right shoulder, can make plays off of it if need be. Playmaking's not exactly what he does, but he can do it. And the most important part is he can play high-level defense. And if you have a guy added to the roster that can play high-level defense, plus also score and give you another option when needed, he's already been a third option. He knows how to work that role. He's been with Desmond Bane, and he has been with Ja Morant, clearly. But while both he and Wembanyama do their best defensive work in the paint, both can step out on the perimeter and cause their problems there. On offense, Jackson Jr. does not need the ball and has already spent long stretches of his career as the second or third option, again, along Ja Morant or along Desmond Bane, because Desmond Bane has proved to be a quality scorer in this league. We saw in their last game, he had like 28 points. He was showing off. He showed off in the last game of the season, or one of the last games. Play-in game. The play-in game against the Warriors when Ja went down with that ankle injury. He played very well in that game too. Desmond Bane has the ability to go get points in bunches, especially from the outside when he's rolling. But you would have this tandem here, and of course you play a man. you're going to have to take the man that you're going to have to be guarded with. Either if you're playing the Rockets, you got Sengun and Steven Adams. You can match perfectly up with them. You're playing the Warriors, you have a guy in Wemby who's going to create mismatches, and then you have people to guard. On every team, you should have a guy or two that Wemby and Jaren Jackson can guard. If not, you could go to a deadly 1-3-1, put Wemby down low, and have Jaren Jackson kind of in the middle, so you could rotate both of them out so they could easily get to the corner and Jaren Jackson could drop down. Depends on what you want to do, run a 3-2, 2-3, depending on the team, depending on how they shoot. Obviously, zone breakers are in the middle, but when you have two guys, 6'10", who are all defensive player of the year capabilities to go along with Fox on the outside, Castle on the outside, two fast, twitchy guards there. I mean, there's a lot of different options that you could play with this team, and I think they would throw a little bit of zone just to throw people off, just because it'd be like, okay, so man, we're going to try to get them in the pick and roll, try to get people maxed up with Jaren Jackson Jr. on the outside and try to get their best matchups. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, now we'll just switch it up here. They would be, usually defenders are at the offensive player's mercy. This kind of pairing would make them at the defensive mercy. And not everyone's Kyrie who says he reacts to the defender. Not many people, if any, other than Kyrie, maybe Steph, AI. You need like that elite handle to be able to react to the defender at that level. Usually you're dictating as an offensive player, you're not reacting. But Kyrie, again, one of one. He's special, of course. But the Spurs could offer Jeremy Sochan, Devin Vassell, or Keldon Johnson, as well as several first-round picks to the Grizzlies. We have a trade going to show you that here in just a moment. Jaren Jackson Jr. would join Fox, Wemby, and Castle, and either Vassell or Harrison Barnes as the starters, with a solid bench, Blake Wesley, Julian Champagnie, up to 2 lottery picks this year, perhaps Chris Paul backing the starters. We obviously don't know what we're going to be doing at big, but in order to make a big three of Wembanyama, Fox, and JJJ feasible, either Fox or Wemby or both might have to refrain from signing a maximum extension this summer or next. And these guys both want to win. I could see both of them taking a little bit of a haircut off of their pay, especially if you're going to give them a lot of guaranteed dollars too. I could see them both taking a little bit of a haircut to possibly make this happen if this were to happen. But overall, both have made it clear that they want to win in San Antonio, although asking them to take a pay cut to make the room for another star is always an awkward request for fans. It would certainly be worth it. It definitely would be worth it. This would be a move that would put us over the top, and I understand too, we're in a position now where we don't have to make a move. There's just going to be so many moves that some will be good, some will be bad. I think that mortgaging the future for Kevin Durant would be bad. I think that mortgaging the future for Giannis Antetokounmpo would be good. I've illustrated that here. I know everybody has different opinions on that, but of course we're all going to have different opinions. We are San Antonio Spurs fans who love the San Antonio Spurs. But as my shirt says, loyalty over money. I prefer loyalty over anything here. This is a trade, though. It's going to be a little bit harder to see. So since it is harder to see, I'm going to break it down for you. It is Jaren Jackson Jr. coming to the San Antonio Spurs, and that's giving up Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan, the 2027 first from Atlanta, a 2028 second-round pick, and then a 2029 pick swap with the Memphis Grizzlies. So we wouldn't be losing our first-round pick. We would just be getting whatever pick was there. By that point, the Grizzlies in 4 years think they could probably be good. You never know what injuries you are. So pick swap there wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but we should probably be at the point where if we do swap picks, it's not the end of the world, but we still get a first-round pick there. But 3 picks, a 2027 first at Atlanta, keep that unprotected there. Then we get this 2028 second-round pick. We already have 2 other second-round picks in that year, and then the 2029 pick swap, so we keep a first in that 2029 season. Get rid of Jeremy Sochan, because if you have Jaren Jackson Jr., you don't need Jeremy Sochan. Makes it redundant at that point, because Sochan can't stretch the floor, and he would be playing a 4 position when Jaren Jackson Jr. is already going to be playing that 4 position. And then give Keldon Johnson financials. You would need to add him in there. Plus, we already are going to keep Vassell. We're going to keep Castle. We have Wemby, we have Jackson Jr. Keldon Johnson would start to not fit on the roster for exactly what we would need off the bench, because off the bench you'd be needing more 3-and-D guys with a point guard who can kind of orchestrate the offense if Chris Paul doesn't come back, or Blake Wesley if he doesn't take that next step, which he definitely has the capabilities of doing. I do like Blake Wesley's game. You'll be looking for more 3-and-D guys, maybe a big pick-and-pop, pick-and-roll big that can do that. But let me know in the comments there if you think that Jaren Jackson Jr. would be a good addition for the San Antonio Spurs. I think that would be, if you don't have to mortgage too much of the future either. I know that was 3 picks, 2 of them being a first, but you're really keeping 1 pick. You're just obviously trading to get the worst one, but you still have a pick in the first round. You're getting rid of that Atlanta one, but you still have a pick, and then you're getting a second-round pick up. It would be somewhere around those lines. I could see they might try to get Vassell out of it instead of Keldon Johnson. That's where you get a little iffy on exactly what picks can you get. No, you're not having that Atlanta then. You might have to get just the Spurs 20. Like, you'd have to move on from there. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about that trade, what you think about the San Antonio Spurs' future in the offseason. This has been Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will be seeing all of you guys very soon.